I'm gonna tell you a story, but the first thing you have to understand is time does not work the way you think it does. You can call the oracle because someone wants to talk to you. Welcome to the call. Alright, so where do I start? I'm on my second completion of watching Princess Bride for the first time in like forever, which is awesome. I feel so much better about life, the universe, and everything. Like, a fun fact about the number 42. The number 42 in ASCI apparently translates to the English word math, short for mathematics. And part of the reason that that's given as the number 42 is given by the computer Big Thought, I believe it's called, in the Douglas Adams series, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, is because according to that computer, the meaning of life is mathematics. So that's where that comes from. Other places that 42 appears, besides from the numbers in Lost, is in the World of Darkness, specifically the Chronicles of Darkness. In the new Mummy series, they have they basically have like the 42 judges of Duat. Now I don't know if that's like, because the thing is, like, the people that turned into Onyx Path, they did some stellar research into the World of Darkness and like old school Bible stuff when they were making Vampire and Demon, like especially Demon. But I don't know how the new people who took over after Onyx Path are in terms of their research, but they also, if I remember correctly, mentioned 15 rivers of the underworld and one that can run dry, which is the 16th, which is the River of Life. So if that is if the research with that is as legit as with the 42 judges, the 42 judges of Duat might actually be really legit. But because I'm a gamer geek, I took this and I took all of the analyst exploits and I basically went avatar, the name of the exploit, and then exploit for like all of them. I also, because I'm a geek, at one point, I don't even know why, because I had like no one to play these games with. It would be exceedingly unfair if I was ever a player in a Demon Descent game, because here's the kind of stuff that I can do. Data retrieval, then data wipe, then freeze assets in no quarter, read hostility, then strike first, then check backdrop, then ambush, interference, then diversion, then alibi, then homogeneous memory, or lost in the crowd, or mistaken identity, or never here. And I have these all written down with like logic shorthand, because in symbolic logic you can do if then and or with symbols other than just the simple ampersand, because you have the arrow for the if then, and you have and for the ampersand for and. You can use V for an or. And so basically what I have is I have sets of embeds that are all that are designed to be able to be used up to 4 at a time in a successive chain, as long as you figure out a way to make them work well together. And so basically what I have is like, oh, well, these obviously work well together. So this, and this, and at the end of this chain, I can have a bunch of different stuff happen by having or in there, as in it's set to have the first 3 be a set pattern, and then vary by whatever the last 4 is based on what I want to do at any given time. So like I basically did that for all of used my blessing to put that in for all of those, because I'm a horrific geek. I also did the angel insects and the qashmalim. I don't know what they're called. The qashmalim things. I also did all of the. Now it's not the same for like obviously for like a human, for a jiva, than it is for like an alchemical being, because in theory, like an alchemical being, once they become all the way human, they lose all their magical stuff. Because the whole deal of Promethean the Created is to become a human. Which is pretty neat in my opinion, honestly. Especially in terms of like the alchemical journey. That's very, very fitting with Full Metal Alchemist, because they got all their groovy alchemy, and at the end, they got their body back, and they have no alchemy. They have no magic, but they're just like whole and completely human again. Sounds like a pretty good deal. Now, admittedly, it's a pretty raw deal that they started out having the ability to do alchemy, and then uh, did some stuff that made them lose their body parts, and then they lose their alchemy by getting their body parts back. But that's part of their journey. I ain't gonna knock it. Other than what I just said this time. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, but I put so basically all the that one was like exceedingly easy, because basically the way it would work in terms of like what's the name of the specific one? In terms of like what this means for in real world philosophy of specifically Taoism, in terms of the Yu Xian, the Xian who constantly transform by ingesting metals and minerals. So this is where the practice of ingesting cinnabar, which you shouldn't do, comes from. Say again. This is where the practice of ingesting cinnabar, which you shouldn't do, comes from. But basically what that does is I basically said Atman, Rajaragu, Rajaraga. I think it's Samskrtm Karoti. And that basically means soul, royal tin, refine. And I basically did that for tin, Kalasisa, black lead, Prataveda, quicksilver, Savarna gold, Rajeta, silver, cobalt, I believe is Nilaketu, Hizakalea for phosphorus. And I basically just went down the list because, like, essentially that's what the core practice of inner alchemy is using your soul to basically transmute or refine substances inside of yourself. That's like the core idea of like inner alchemy, specifically in terms of inner metallurgy, where you ingest certain minerals and metals. You don't actually ingest them. You more or less magically refine them inside of yourself without taking toxic substances into you. Because, like, gold, for example, actually, in tiny amounts, as long as it isn't repeated tiny amounts, not that bad for you. Because, like, you can have gold jewelry and in you, like, on the daily, and it's not a problem. But you consume it, especially, like, there's a whole House episode about it where a dude was getting heavy metal poisoning because his wife was feeding him gold. Like, oh, man. If I ever get married, I hope to God I never piss her off that bad. Let's see. But I did all the qashmalim stuff. Oh yeah, I did a bunch of the werewolf stuff as Sita or Spirit being my own, basically. Sort of like I did with the all of the alchemical exalted things. I just went down the list and was like, all right, Spirit, this, but so was a gift. I'm like, it seems a little cheesy to do it that way. It's not like I'm really expecting to get a whole bunch of supernatural powers by doing this, because I'm not. I just did it for poops and giggles. But it'd be cool if it worked out that way. I'm not expecting it to, though, just for the record. All of a sudden, I become the most powerful masculinity on Earth just because. I become this most powerful Divya Sattva in the face of Priyanana just because I do a bunch of stuff and I think it's funny. That would be hilarious, but I doubt it's gonna happen. Anyway, let's see. Anything else I did recently? Oh yeah, I mentioned in previous episodes that I do this effigy burn every year. I applied to a theme camp. It's actually a Deepa theme camp, which is hilarious because I made the Dippy Deepa. I actually was like, yeah, I made a magic lamp. I mean, like, I don't expect it to like seal the deal for me, but like at the very least, if I am part of the if I end up being part of the camp, I'm not gonna not bring it because that would be ridiculous and stupid to not do such. Anyway, I think I'm done for now. This is Oracle, I'm gonna sing myself out. Dream safely out there in the weave all throughout. From Hami up top, with Vaga up there, and Narakayama Sedania down where, and Pisa cassava all around like the Grahana Vidyahari all over wow. And that will be say, Savannah above. The sky below, a cause the middle thereof. Top Yamahadesi Priyadaya from me. Zakuna to out there, all of ye.